Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So in this video, I'm going to share with you on how to calculate how to estimate the duration for each task, okay, based on the resources, which is we're going to use the formula of durations is equal to quantity. This is the quantity of work that need to be done for that particular task, divided by number of group that going to perform the task times by the productivity rate of each group. And don't forget to add on the risk for that particular task based on the given risk in the table of resource distribution here. Alright. Okay. So first, let's say on the resource planning table that been given. Okay, for this resource planning table, we already have each team that going to involve the number of team or the number of resources that available on site for this project, and also the productivity rate of the workers based on group for each block A and block B. Okay, for example here, for the work team, okay, there will be 5 group that can work on site on every day. Okay, and for block A, the productivity rate for each group will be 100 meter cube of excavation or earthwork per day per group, and for block B is 800 meter cube per day per group. Okay, and for the structure team, we have 6 groups that can work on site in a day, and then the productivity rate for each group is 100 meter cube per day, okay, to do the concreting work, like especially to complete for concreting work. And then for architecture team, we have 6 groups also. Okay, with each group for block A can work for 100 meters square of area of the building for a group per day, and for block B they can work up to 150 meters square per group per day. And finally, for the mechanical and electrical team, there will be 5 groups that can work on site for each day. And then the working or productivity rate for each group is about 14 NAS or 14 number installations for block A and 50 number of installation for block B. Okay, so this is the given resource group or manpower and also their productivity rate on site. Okay. Now, on the next table on the resource distribution, okay, so basically it has been assigned how many group that going to do the task for a work, okay, for block A and for block B as well. Okay, for example here, for earthwork, okay, earthwork, basically for earthwork, we can see from the table, okay, there will be 5 group that can work in a day, okay, at the same time. Okay, so this 5 group we can distribute that 2 group will do the job on block A, and then another 3 group will do the job on block B. Okay. Okay, so and then to calculate the duration here, okay, to calculate the duration for each block A and block B, you need to use this formula, okay, the yellow highlighted formula. Okay, for this formula, you have to key in the quantity. Let's say if we are calculating for block A, okay, let's say the quantity is 100,000 meter cube. This is based on this data, okay, for block A, and then divide by 2 is 2 group. Okay, for block A, we have 2 group times by the productivity rate. Productivity rate is, for block A is, the quantity is here, sorry. The quantity up here is basically the amount of earth that need to be excavated and compact and so on. Okay, for block A, this is the 100 meter cube, and then this is the productivity rate for each group, which is 1000 for block A. Okay, so meaning that 100,000 meter cube of earthwork divided by 2 group for block A, okay, times by 100 times by 1000 meter cube per day, the productivity for block A. Okay, and then plus by 10% from this calculation. Okay, so basically from 100,000 divided by 2000 is equal to 50 days, and then we plus by 10% of 50 days is 5 days. So meaning that to do the work for block A, it needs a minimum of 55 days to complete. So this 55 days you just write here. Okay, so next what you need to do is, okay, you go to the Microsoft project file. This is your Microsoft project file. Okay, after you have completed key in the predecessor, or after you have completed putting the relationship between tasks, then you can insert the data for the duration of each activity or each task. Okay, remember you only key in the data for the task that not being bold in the Microsoft project. Okay, for example, let's say we go start is basically is a milestone, so it will be represented by 0 duration. Performance bonds and insurance, we can put 1 day. Okay, and then establish and removal of site office, we can estimate that to install the site office we need about 5 days, and then to remove is about 3 days. Okay, and then progress report you already set during the recurring task. Okay, service relocation for block A, for block B by nominated subcontractor. This is third party work, is a milestone, so this will be 0 duration. Okay, and work for block A is 55 days. This is based on this calculation. Okay, you have calculated, so it is 55 days. Okay, and then next you have to proceed with the next calculation on the structure, architecture and mechanical and electrical as well for each block A and block B. Okay, so for example for structure block A, okay, total 9,000 meter cube of work. So this is the quantity, 9,000 meter cube of work. Okay, and then divide by number of group times by the productivity rate. Okay, number of group for block A is 3, 3 group for structure team. Okay, and then times by productivity rate for structure work block A is 100 meter cube. So you get, and then plus 7 days is the risk. Okay, 7-day risk is given here. Okay, for testing you need 7 days additional, need to be add up to the total duration calculated by the using the quantity and also productivity. Okay, so basically from this calculation we get 30 days plus 7 days is 37 days. So these 37 days must be comply by the structure works, or must is needed for the structure work to be done. Okay, but for this structure work, you did not key in the 37 days here on the summary task. So what you need to do, you have a few works under the structure work, which is the form work, rebar and concreting. So basically what you need to do, you fill up the tasks for structure work that not been bold by the software. Okay, basically for this for the 37 day you have to divide, you have to segregate between all the work, all the tasks that involve for structure work. Okay, for example, we have fabrications of form work, you have to assign how many days. Okay, and then installation you assign how many days, and then removal you assign how many days. So what you're going to do, okay, software will calculate for you the total of structure work here. Okay, based on that you key in. So for example, you can change, let's say you change, okay, so if you change the number of days, so you can see that the structure work, total structure work duration will change. Okay, so just play around with the numbers of durations or the duration for each task, and just make sure that the structured work comply with 37 days as been calculated. Okay, so that is all what you need to do. Okay, same goes to the other activities. For example, for architecture work, by calculation, architecture work for block A is 50 days. So this 50 days, okay, you distribute to all tasks under the architecture work. Okay, then it going to accumulate, okay, the cumulative days, okay, based on what you key in, and make sure the cumulative days comply with the calculation or duration that has been calculated earlier. Alright, so this is what you need to do, okay, for this activity for in this week. Okay, and in the next video, I'm going to share with you on how you can put or how you can assign the resources or manpower for each task. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.